If you don't know infiltration, your load at design, which is represented on the far right and far left, can vary a lot. But if the house is tight and well insulated, as you can see with the red line here, the variation in your load is much smaller. So this basically is the amount that you're guessing. Is this a tight, pretty well performing house, or is it a loose, pretty poorly performing house? If it's a tight house, heating load be under 50,000. If it's a loose house, it might be 100,000. And if they're not paying you to do a blower door test or look at the insulation, then this is your range from 35 to 100,000. And as we were thinking about that, I said it would look like a pyramid, but it also could be presented as a funnel. So if you think about this flipped over, this is a pyramid. And the way we look at likely load is you don't make a recommendation to somebody about the size of their equipment unless you have enough information that you're confident in the load. And our minimum requirement to have confidence in the load is what we call a comfort consult. So if you're doing anything less than a comfort consult, then what you want to do is provide people with education. And so as we were talking about likely load range and manual J precision, back when I was in home performance, you could use manual J if you got a lot of information to get quite an accurate load. But if you didn't get a tremendous amount of information, then you're going to be a whole lot less accurate. Again, going back to this slide. So without that information, you got to guess somewhere between here and here. And with that information, your variance is much, much tighter. So let me read this. If you don't measure, you're guessing. And the more you guess, the less confidence you can have in your accuracy. Manual J has things measured and things guessed. The more you measure, the more confidence you can have in your manual J. To represent this variance, think of a pyramid where the bottom represents a very wide range, and as you go up, confidence in your variance narrows. So manual J is basically a precision pyramid. We feel if your precision variance is greater than a ton, sizing decisions and risk should be left to the client. The manual J doesn't measure enough that contractors can be confident standing behind the manual J sizing recommendation. The variance is simply too wide. So how can if they don't have a blower door, so how can a contractor who doesn't have enough information about load convey this fact to homeowners? This is where we came up with likely load range. So we're going to build a path to quickly and easily convey this risk to the homeowner and offer more precision by offering the HVAC 2.0 Comfort Consult. By educating the homeowner about sizing and precision and offering a comfort consult, if the homeowner declines, we feel they have explicitly taken ownership of sizing risk. So,
yeah, I want to just add a little something to that, just to if you'll go back to that last slide. Another way to reframe this is, there's so many factors that that really goes into a load calculation. Like blower door is one of the bigger ones, which is why it's, and it's something that if you're not testing that, it's a wild guess. Anybody that says they can look at a house and tell how leaky it is, that's a good indication that they are full of shit.
Well,
Good litmus
so
test.
they're making an assertion based on ignorance.
Yes. And so what you can kind of do is, like, it's easy to go down the rabbit hole of going, okay, well, you have overall leakage. You have what is the actual, U value and solar heat gain coefficient of a window. How many windows do you have? How much insulation is the insulation even throughout? Is there missing insulation? What colors or how much shading do you have? Like, there's a bunch of factors that all it it can skew the load one way or another. And when you're
Does
doing
your does your ductwork leak to outside? Does it leak to
yes.
inside? Yeah.
Yes, yeah, duct leakage to outdoors, like all these things that play a huge role. Is when your system kicks on, does it go negative or does it stay neutral or a little bit positive? Like all these things play a huge factor to the load, and you're kind of left with really two questions, and it is how many things are needed to actually get it accurate, and where is the line in which you're okay? Where's the line of this is good enough to be accurate, and anything less than that is not worth pursuing. That's where the comfort consult is. That line is the comfort consult, where we are gathering enough information that you can feel extremely confident in the load that you're going to come to. And anything that is not comfort consult, all that from that point below is likely load range. And so the reason it's kind of going this direction is it's okay, well, now we have to accept that we're going to have some inaccuracies. Essentially, we don't know. If we can't do the comfort consult, we don't know. So then we're having to ask the question of how do we convey what your load could potentially be in a way that gives you enough information to make good choices without having to spend money for a comfort consult if it's needed or not. And so I kind of thought about like reframing it in that way to kind of understand like what is the actual purpose of the likely load range. You know, if okay, sure, a load calculation requires a lot to be accurate, but why not just do that each time? Or what point is it good enough or not good enough? And I feel like that's where we've kind of came to this conclusion of we have comfort consult, which is good enough to actually be accurate, and anything less than that, we're going likely load range.